Both ISS and Glass Lewis recently published their updated guidelines for 2023. I've just finished reading an alert on the new policies written by my good friend, Dave Eaton of Sustainable Governance Partners. Dave, this is a new role for you. Congratulations. Can you tell me a little bit about SGP?
Sure, thanks. Thanks for having me, Terry. Yeah, I've been here a couple months, really excited about it. It's going great. SGP, an investor-led advisory firm. We've just decades of experience here from the investor side, from large asset management firms, from proxy advisory world. And we support boards and management teams, public companies primarily, through different industries, different sizes, different stages of maturity. We help the companies with investor engagement. We help them with annual meeting preparation and really getting them ready for success, ESG strategy, all sorts of governance stuff. It's been great.
Well, as you know, Dave, I kind of live and die around performance equity and LTI plans. And what got my attention on your alert was the new threshold requirement at Glass Lewis for performance-based incentives. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I knew that was the one. I knew that was the item that was going to jump out at you. It's an interesting one. For years, Glass Lewis and ISS were different in their expectation in terms of performance-based long-term incentives. ISS always said 50%, Glass Lewis said 33%. And beginning in 2023, Glass Lewis is upping theirs to 50% as the minimum threshold expectation for performance-based long-term incentives. So now it's in line with ISS, but as you know, Terry, neither proxy advisory firm considers traditional at-the-money stock options to be performance-based.
Yeah, that's always been a concern of mine. But changing the subject on you a little bit, do you think these new pay versus performance rules by the SEC, which imply that at-the-money stock options are performance-based, since you're able to put them in the 3 to 7 most important performance measures, do you think that the fact that the SEC implies that stock options are performance-based will maybe create any change to ISS or Glass Lewis?
It's a great question because you're absolutely right. The new rules absolutely imply that stock options are performance-based. And I think in year one, it certainly is not going to affect ISS and Glass Lewis. They're not going to change their quantitative modeling. They're not going to change their perspective on those at-the-money stock options. However, I think we'll have to see how it affects them going down the road, maybe in a few years, as they look at this more.
I can see that. Since I brought up these new pay versus performance disclosures, maybe from an ivory tower perspective, what are your thoughts? How do investors feel about them? I'd be curious on your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of our clients, companies are asking that. What do investors think of that? I think from a philosophical point of view, it's great. Additional transparency, standardization, comparability across companies. What investors are really going to do with that information? That's the big question. Is it going to lead to better informed voting decisions? Hopefully. Is it going to identify pay for performance disconnects? Hopefully, but really, I think in year one, maybe year two of this disclosure, it's going to be kind of wait and see. People are going to feel it out a little bit, and the market's going to determine the usefulness of it ultimately.
Makes sense. Well, Dave, as usual, great work. Keep being the trusted advisor in the age of ESG.
Great.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks for having me, Terry.